Hi everyone, it's me Wilkins. Those who don't know me, 30 plus year old, non-sexual, lone rare guest star that you need in your life, or not. Uh, Today I want to talk about something pretty serious. It's about PTSD. Now, granted, as I'm talking, parts of my speech may be a little bit delayed, so just bear with me for a moment, okay? This is not an easy topic for me to talk about. I talked a little bit about this on my TikTok, but I actually want to go into more details as to, for those who are new to this, what PTSD is and how it can affect someone long term. And then I will give you all a list of, well, some events that pretty much brought my PTSD back. I'll go ahead and state some moments that, started in the first place. And this is bigger than, again, I'm really trying my best not to bring up certain things. But sometimes when you're teaching, you have to bring up certain parts that hurt. So, first off, let's look up PTSD. And we're not going to use the AI. No, we're going to actually go to the www.ptsd.va.gov. We're going to look at an actual website and we're going to read it. Uh, Apparently, psychiatric.org. How about that? So, according to psychiatric.org, under the PTSD section, post traumatic stress disorder is a psychiatric condition that may occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event or series of traumatic events. The individual often experiences the event or events as emotionally or physically harmful or life threatening. Examples include but are not limited to abuse, physical, sexual, emotional, natural disasters, serious accidents, terrorist acts, war combat exposure, intimate partner violence, and medical illness. However, most individuals who experience trauma do not go on to develop PTSD. And I'll start right there. PTSD, right, has four factors. And these four factors can consist of the following: how it affects you mentally, physically, emotionally, and of course, in your spirit. Now, I don't think I have to break down what that means because a lot of you are incredibly smart and intelligent. So now that you all know what PTSD is, I'm going to tell you one question that a lot of people with PTSD don't like being asked. I don't mind it because I actually appreciate it when someone asks me this question. How are you doing today? This question triggers it because it causes them to think about other current events that are going on or past events. And it makes sense because if that sentence is correlated with a traumatic event, it's going to cause an individual to, spaz or have a crash out, as they say. We used to call it angry outbursts, but nowadays people call it crashing out. So, before I begin, how many of you know someone who has PTSD or anyone who has suffered PTSD? For those of you who didn't answer, you are a very lucky and blessed individual. I would not wish these symptoms on anybody. Now, the symptoms, according to psychiatry.org, is the following: intrusion, avoidance, changes in cognition and mood, changes in arousal and reactivity. So, intrusion just means repetition. The moment someone brings you back to that moment in your life, you you know it calls you to avoid it. So, for instance, something that could be traumatic could be I'm trying to think of a good example. Getting banned. Hear me? Getting banned and then getting harassed and then being told that you're a terrible person, you did this and this, which can trigger someone to, go back to that event. That right there is scary. Um, it could be anything dealing with sexual, you know. Someone actually dealing with sexual relations, getting their heart broken over and over again, hearing the same things, and it could cause someone to avoid. Um, and these moments can cause someone to have changes in their mood and cause them to lose interest. And it can also cause people to be in a deep depression. But we're not here to talk about, you know, all of that. We're pretty much just here to talk about my situation with PTSD and how I'm dealing with it. What I want to tell people right now is there is hope and it can be reversed and it heals over time. But what a lot of, you know, experts fail to understand is that PTSD is indeed linked. It starts off small. It could be something as small as you broke your finger. So it's like, okay, you broke your finger. No big deal, right? That happens to a lot of people. But then you deal with someone who's abusive and they tell you deal with your broken finger. And then you walk around school and, you walk around with a broken finger. You're in pain, but you know that you can only cry in certain areas, but you can't cry, at home. If you do, then, you're going to get abused. See how that can cause people to think that, like, oh, well, broken fingers is normal. No, it's not. A broken finger can lead to many health problems. Can actually, if not treated, it can lead to other serious consequences. So that's just, I know that's pretty extreme, but that's just stuff that happens. Another form of PTSD that can cause this stuff, and believe it or not, I hate to tell you all this, severe butt whoopings, that can do it too. Getting hit with wires, getting hit with something you're not, metal rods. Every time you see it, your body reacts to it. That can cause it too. Because again, it just depends on who is disciplining you and how they did it. They just beat you and they didn't talk to you. Then they just abused you. But this is the type of stuff that a lot of people need to understand that this is real. And trust me, when I was diagnosed with this years ago, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, yeah, right, I don't have this. I definitely have it. And it's not fun. It's terrible. Anyway, another thing that people seem to fail to understand is that everyone deals with PTSD differently. They think, oh, well, these are the four symptoms. No. Some people deal with PTSD completely differently from others. Some are really good at masking their emotions, where you don't even know they have it. They can be overly positive, and it could just be one thing that sets them off, and then all of a sudden they're having a screaming fit. Some find ways to, they will isolate themselves. They will do a lot more working out and overthinking than usual. Some will sing about it. Some will write poetry about it. See, these are positive coping mechanisms. But if they don't talk to people about it, then it's out there. You probably wonder, well, what's wrong with that guy? What's wrong with that guy? Why in the world would they draw or do something like that? Well, they have no one to talk to. Anyway, so now that you all have a gist for over 10 minutes of what PTSD is, let's go ahead and get started on what it's like for me to have PTSD. I'll start off with now, okay? Or maybe I should start off with the past. I think it's best if I start off with now. So I've already typed all of this up, so I'm just going to pretty much just read word for word, so it just makes it easy for me. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I do have this. And folks wonder why I'll be by myself, why I will stop hanging out with people, why I will stop going to certain events. Um, and that's just why. And usually, truth be told, it usually has nothing to do with the person. It's just a battle that I fight within my own head. And it's not easy. So when I see others that are dealing with it, I go after them, respectfully. And I talk to them. I reach out to them. Like I say, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? You know? So, like, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? First off, depending on the situation, it depends on the situation. It could be something as simple as I got banned or blocked, whatever, big whoop. But it could be where that happens, how the person did it, how I got humiliated, whatnot. That can set me back to thinking about something that happened 10 years ago, where someone kicked me out of a group or something, and how I got yelled at and manipulated and told a bunch of lies. And that could pretty much cause me to have trust issues. See what I mean? So understand that a simple thing reveals a lot. That's one of my favorite quotes that I made up years ago. I remember I said that when I was a kid. That is very important. If you don't pay attention to that one little thing, how that person reacts to it, you're gonna have a bigger problem over time. So going back to my symptoms. Dissociation. I will sometimes roleplay as characters or work on ideas for my future graphic novel, anime, to help cope with whatever I'm dealing with. Turn my pain, suffering into a successful idea. So I pretty much will talk about it, do rhyme. I will, sometimes just look up some moments of my past that were peaceful and calming. I will, go to that moment where I'm just like thinking of the good and only the good. Or I will think about a character, especially in VR chat, and I'll just roleplay as that character. It'll make me feel calm and safe for that moment. It just depends. Again, this is only if it's severe. Severe levels of PTSD will cause me to go back to this, but it's very, very rare. I can still talk to people. I can still interact out of character. That's just what I do. And then what I'll do is I'll come up with a character and use that for my future graphic novel, change him or her or whatever up a bit, and say, okay, I will reenact this scene in my head, draw it out, write a song about it, and then before you know it, I will do this till I'm exhausted. And then once that's done, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling better now. I will revert to a selective mute. So if I've dealt with multiple instances of, I'm trying to think. Where I am constantly being harassed or being judged severely for no reason. My peace is constantly being disturbed. Or just being told things, not having a chance to talk. I'll just revert to a selective mute. And what that means is that's only to certain people, and that's only if I've been betrayed. And I'll use like ASL. I'll speak in short sentences. So if someone says, "How are you?" I'll say, "Oh, I'm fine." Versus, "Oh man, I'm doing fantastic. Did you see that Minecraft movie? Oh man, I'm doing wonderful." And then, did you let's hear about what happened on the news, or that did you hear about that latest? No, I'll just speak in short sentences and just be quiet. I'll wave. I'll post GIFs and emotes. A good example of this, and what I should start doing is I should give examples and post on my TikTok. Like if I'm in a group instance, you will all see this go into play. Where if I'm in a big group sometimes and I'm around a lot of people I do not know, I will talk to them, but it's just like it'll go back to like if I see that one person or whatnot. I know I say, forget, but what people don't understand is that the damage is done, and I have to, heal from that. So let's say I just see someone or whatever, or there's some level of guilt, I'll revert to a selective mute, and I'll revert to an NPC, which goes back to dissociation. I will just be an NPC, walk around, and just be like, well, no one cares about me anyway, I'm just going to do whatever. And that's what happens. I just do whatever. So I'll pick a character, be an NPC, just be that background character for that streamer, and that's what I would usually do. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, they don't care about psychology. They're not going to bother to want to hear what I have to say, so that's what I'll do. I'll just disassociate. I'll just be another person. I'll just act out, in a way that's befitting to me, in a way that makes me feel good. Like I'll be good. Or I'll be Rodman the Blood Edge or Shadow the Hedgehog. So I'll just be these characters, and it will just constantly just happen over and over again until once that event, that stream or whatnot's over, I'm back to myself, and then I'm just pretty much exhausted. Separation. So during this phase, I will simply separate and leave people alone for a while. So if someone says something to me extremely hurtful, even though I'm very forgiving, like you're a terrible friend, or you did this, and you're just like your father, you're just gonna repeat what he does. Like anything that's dark. Like I don't care about if I'm called the N word or the R word or the F word. That's whatever. I mean, that's just people being people, just not understanding what those words truly mean. Or it's just a repeated pattern from what they've heard from their past. I will simply just leave people alone. And it could be for a week, it could be for a month. And that's only if it's severe. Notice the word I'm using, severe. If it's like, little, it's like whatever. So what I do is I meditate, focus on what I could have done better and where I can go moving forward so I can guarantee my future success in life. So some symptoms that I would do, you'll see me on social media do this. I will delete accounts, leave servers, groups. I will just simply not talk to certain people. I will find other extracurricular activities. I'll work out a lot more, which I'll talk about that in just a moment. And I will just not bother. The pseudo-bubular effect. If you watch Joker 2019, you already know what this is. It's just it's a condition where we under extreme fear or anxiety, or when, in my case, when something just baffling happens and it's just occurring way faster than I can ever imagine, I will just start to laugh uncontrollably. It's very rare that this happens, and again, it has to be a combination of events that happen to me, like dealing with death, dealing with someone harassing me, just it has to be a culmination of terrible things or being threatened. It has to be a culmination of almost a lot of things happening that will cause me to be in this type of situation. Apathy. I just won't care. If I deal with someone, I give them advice, and then they treat me like dirt, that would just cause my PTSD to be initiated, and I just become apathetic. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Oh, this happened to me, or my family got into a car accident. I'm like, I'm sorry that happened, but yeah. I'll just have this monotone tone, say, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. It'll be, yeah. And I've already acted this way towards certain people, and it's not intentional, but that's just how my body, that's how I protect myself and my emotions. I just go apathetic. Did you hear what happened to the Trump administration? Yeah, whatever. That's just my reaction. It's just gross to apathy. And then what I will do afterwards, I'll over exercise and work out. Where I will exercise, work out, I'll do like 500 this, 200 this. I'll lift weights, like I'll do 100 crunches, 100 here, 100 there, and then I'll wake up, my body's just, I barely can move it. And that's only because I overexerted my body. So that's just all stress and anxiety and just constantly having that memory play in my head. So here's a list of factors that might have initiated my PTSD at random. So again, anyone have any questions? No? All right, I'll continue. Betrayal of self or others. I'm going to read down this line, and then after I'm done reading this, I will talk about what I plan to do to combat my PTSD. Just because I deal with this doesn't mean that I can't, live my life. I can't be happy. I can't associate with others, because trust me when I say, I am a very happy individual. I am very forgiving. There's a lot that I am hopeful for of this world and each generation. It's something that I have to fight with every day. And people say, oh, take medicine. You have to face it head on. The medicine's only going to be like a patch. It's only going to be a patch. You have to face this head on. Medicine is only going to help to an extent. You have to actually fight this. But otherwise, it's just not going to get better. Because you have to put yourself in a scenario. What happens if I don't have the medicine? What happens if the doctor says my insurance can't cover this medication? What am I going to do? Have a panic attack? No, I have to take a deep breath, practice my breathing exercises, and think of a plan. So, I'm going to put my glass on for this. So, the betrayal of self or others. So, here's just some examples. And again, if you have any questions, please type it in the chat. I can actually see the chat this time. Constantly having to keep checking on people over and over again just for them to betray my trust or to leave and blame me for their problems. This constitutes the own calling me a terrible friend, which sets me back mentally. A recent example was I was in a group instance and I said some things in a joking manner, wasn't really being serious, and I was called something absolutely terrible. And what happens is my body just froze, my arms start to feel heavy. I start to almost dissociate. I had to practice grounding techniques. Luckily, I have friends there to help me with it, but I had to look to the left, look to the right, look up, look down. I had to, take deep breaths, and I just had to, remind myself that that's not true. Hey, just evaluate next time what you say to people. So I had to do all of this just to calm myself down. Here's the negative side effect. So even though I've gotten over it, when I went back to the instance, or that area, that individual popped up. And while that individual doesn't even know who I am or doesn't care about me, mentally my body starts to feel that hint of frustration in my hands and my arms. So I had to, tell myself, hey, it ain't bothering you. Don't worry about it. If it bothers you, cool. If not, no big deal. So just know you're not alone. PTSD or any mental health issues are real, nothing to play with. You are far from bad, friend, brother. You help others on a daily basis. Day by day, always remember you come first before helping us. I appreciate that, bro. And I hope you're doing good. Yeah, the purpose of this stream is just to make people aware that you're not alone with this. Because there's too many people just anywhere, not just social media, but just in real life, especially with those I deal with, that don't realize that this can be serious if it's not dealt with immediately. So, but yeah, that's just an example, on top of an example. So, number 2, being told that people appreciate me, but I'm constantly seeing opposite examples. So, this is not towards my friends, because I believe my friends say, especially you. It's just some people, they like to, and I'm talking about IRL as well, they'll get to know me, they'll say stuff, and they're like, oh, you're a good person, whatnot. But then their attitude says otherwise. So, for instance, let's just say someone wants to do a collab with me. I'm like, that's cool. Let's do this collab. And then I make the mistake where I get my times mixed up and I overslept. I'm checking on my dog's throwing up. And then when I try to message the person, they get an attitude and they say, oh, don't worry about it. I don't want to do it no more. Granted, I understand why they're frustrated, but it's just like, how would you like it if I did that to you? So that's just the type of stuff that I do. See, if it happened one time, it's like whatever. But when it's repeated patterns where you deal with this person that treats you like this person treats like this person, and it culminates, you just don't care. You just have this reaction where you're just like, you know what? Screw that person. I made a mistake and they want to hold me to it. Well, screw them. That's not the right response to have. The correct response to have is just to look at it like, this is what happened. It was out of my control. This is what I need to do better. No big deal. I'm going to let them be mad. And it's not like it was anything like a big deal. It's not like, oh, it was like a business event. It was just to work on a video. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. Stuff happens, reschedule, move on. Another example could be getting banned, blocked, or having rumors spread about, me when it comes to those who I never met and talked to. I never told people this, but I have dealt with a situation where, and this is honestly sadly prevalent in the furry community mostly, where you meet somebody and they will just automatically block you. Just no reason. You can do all the research, go on YouTube, go on BitChute, and do all this unnecessary research to find out that there's nothing on you. It's just the fact that they have a grudge against you and you've never met this person, you never talked to them. This has happened to me 3 times. 3 strikes, you're out. And best believe when I tell you, this can cause people to have trust issues, especially if those same people, right, are friends with them. So then it's like, well, who do I trust? So that's where that's how someone's PTSD could be true. It's like, well, who can I trust? I can't trust you because you're friends with this person that hates me for no reason. I don't know what I did. So all of this adds up, and it just, it can make a person really frustrated easily. It can cause a person to be on edge. So when a person says stuff like, this is a good example. You want to join my Discord? See what I mean? That was an example of like my PTSD right there. So sorry if I startled you. When someone says you want to join my Discord, immediate frustration. It's immediate, because it's like my brain is being set back to thinking about what this person did, what this streamer did, what they did. Even though I forgave them, even though I went through all of that, it's just an automatic response. That's the thing that people need to understand about PTSD. You can forgive, you can still be kind, a kind referring to this person if y'all made amends, but it can still be initiated through someone else. That's the thing that people don't understand. It can be initiated through somebody else. And that's what makes PTSD so dangerous. Receiving no response from anybody when I'm talking outside of streams. When I message someone on Discord, right, or just send someone an email, or if I, call someone, one thing that I tell people all the time is, if I don't respond to you, I will, give me 24 to 72 hours, I will respond back. Because chances are, if I'm not responding to you, I'm busy, or worst case scenario, I'm probably dealing with a mental breakdown, which is very rare, because stuff had happened. The mental breakdown part is rare, so don't worry, I don't deal with that a lot. But when I was young, I used to have those, where I would just start crying, get mad, and I would take like old tech and I would just smash and break it to pieces. And then just state the name of whoever got on my nerves the most. And it would take my mother, my brothers, and even sometimes my grandparents to calm me down. Because that anger it was it was rising. And again, this is not just automatic. This is something that happens repeatedly. Where it's like this happened and then it happened again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and then it culminates and then it just snap. See, mine's is different. Because one second. Okay, sorry about that. So, when I message someone and they don't respond, I give them at least as long as they need to. But what I don't understand is when I message someone and it could literally be like several months and they don't respond back. So it makes me think something's wrong or I did something wrong. And again, that can also cause me to have those thoughts. It's an automatic response. I don't think this way all the time. It's just if it's like towards someone I just met, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But if it's like someone that I've known for 3, 4, 5 years, it's like, whoa, what's going on? So being pressured to do things that I simply don't want to do or have zero interest in at the moment. How many of y'all have dealt with this? It could just be, your parent in the past telling you, oh, you're going to do this extracurricular activity. I don't care that you want to do boxing or you want to do, band. No, you're doing this. You're going to be a ballerina, And you do it, and you like it, but you're like, well, wow, I missed my chance to do what I want to do. I mean, granted, yeah, I could do it as an adult, but it's just like, man, I want to do it as a kid. So, have an obligation to call instead of text. I get why people like calling. It's easier. I get it. But there's one thing that sets me off, and I'm not even joking, and I may have to talk to my therapist about this. The Discord ringtone. It's nobody's fault but mine. I dealt with it for 10 years, on and off, and every time I hear that, my anxiety starts to spike. Like, I remember I would make jokes about this, saying, oh, no, it's like every time I get a Discord call, it's never really anything positive. Usually it is, but it always resorts to someone needs to talk to me about their problems, or someone has an issue with me, or someone's trying to set their record straight, or they're trauma dumping me, and that's why when I hear that call, I start to, get kind of nervous. Like, my body starts to shake. But if I hear a different ringtone, it's different. But if it's the doo-doo, 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 it actually causes me to, back away from Discord. That's why I say, please text me. It's easier, and I'll give you the permission to call. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I'll work on it. It was like this when I was young, when people say, oh, I don't like texting, call me instead. I would call them, And again, not if this isn't you, don't worry about it. I'm not pointing fingers at nobody, okay? I'm talking like before I met, most of y'all online. I would call them and they would take up an hour or two of my time. And then when I tell them, hey, I gotta go, I got homework to do, and they get frustrated. I'm like, okay, whatever. And it's just, yeah. Not having a say in anything when it comes to collaborative projects, events, or activities. This is one of the reasons why I left a lot of VR groups and Discords. Because it gets tiring where I actually want to be a part of projects. I actually want to give my input on things, and I can't without someone getting offended. The furry community is the worst offenders. I don't care what anybody says. You can't say nothing about their projects or their videos without them getting offended and without them getting angry. And it's not just them. It's just regular people in general. Those having, VR, like avatars, or just streamers, IRL streamers. You can't critique them. You can't say anything. You can't say, hey, I love your video, but may I suggest this? You can't say that without someone getting butthurt or angry or wanting to kick you or block you. It's like in real life where you're going to an event, you have a suggestion, and you get laughed at because you just want everyone to just have, a much more efficient, better time, but they're upset with you because you came up with an idea that they didn't. This has happened throughout most of my life, where people just look at me and say, oh, that's a great idea, never do it. Yeah, we'll look into it, never do it. I will message game companies, I'll message anybody. Thank you so much for your inquiry. You did. Won't even bother. Hey man, here's these tips you should follow. Yeah, sure. I'll just ask someone else. You're no help. You're no help to me. Again, this happened over and over and over and over and over again. So I want people to understand that PTSD doesn't just happen because of that moment. It's repeated times it's happened. So it's a certain pattern. I want people to understand that it's a pattern. It's repeated in different time intervals. Being around people who constantly judge me in front of my friends in secret. I have been gaslit before, IRL, and, on social media. I remember by streamers, I have been publicly embarrassed. It has happened to me on more than one occasion. And there's nothing I could do about it. Or I just risk the chance of getting blocked, banned, kicked, or whatever. So that was pretty much my reality that I had to deal with. It was not like that with everyone, but it was definitely like that with certain ones. That's why I avoid big streamers, because most of them act that way. Especially the ones that say stuff like, oh, you can't add me as a friend or whatever. Because I'm like, oh boy. Feeling useless when I can't help anybody out of certain situations. This is being worked on. This is no longer an issue, but it used to be an issue when I was a kid because I was like Deku. I was that hero type character. I was like Mark from Invincible. I want to help people. I want to save the world. I want to learn so much so I can help people. And then you have that realization where you're like Billy Butcher. It's like, yeah, whatever. So that's why I pretty much relate to people like CM Punk and Billy Butcher, because I have that realization where it's like, yeah, maybe I just can't help people, Maybe I can help some people, but not all of them. That's okay. And also suffer public humiliation because I have to focus on my life instead of hanging out with friends. Mostly streamers did this to me. They would make me feel ashamed of myself because I'm trying to take care of myself and my dog. I don't know why people act like this. I don't know why anyone would make me feel this way. But it's not right. And but if I do it, I'm a bad person. But if they do it, they're in the right. And then they say something like, "Oh, you should hang out with them, and you should have done this, and if it's been that long, and da da da." And it's just, wow, I didn't realize that's how you felt about me. This is a big one, and if anybody that's a woman on here listening, I assure you that one of these days I'm gonna see if I can talk to them, maybe make a suggestion. You know, the great myths, like if I was to make the great myths of this, I want to do something called like the great myths of lesbians because there's a lot of misconceptions about them. Um, Mostly just them. I would say maybe just women and lesbians, or like one with lesbians, but I think just lesbians. Because unfortunately for me, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I said anything in the past or if it's just karma, even though I was just a kid. I was mistreated by them. I was also mistreated by women. Um, this is something that my therapist is still working on me with, and it's getting better. It's a lot better. But back then, it was just constant. And I had a lot of people help me with this, but mentally, it was just difficult for me to comprehend this. I don't know why it was. Because for some reason, my brain, I was like, oh, women and girls are nice. They're supposed to be nice. Like, they can be tough and stuff, but they're supposed to be nice. I'm like, why is my brain think this way? But I definitely want to, maybe talk with, once I get into college and get myself together, I definitely want to like do more research on this and interview lesbians and hear their perspective on how they feel about men. What are the top 10 fallacies that they've heard about men and whatnot? Because I don't mind like talking to them and actually breaking this apart. The scientific matter or whatnot. It's just like I feel like the reason why they just hate us so much is because of sexual abuse, and I get it, but it's like to put all men in that category and then treat me like trash. It's not fair. So what happens is if I just happen to learn that someone's a lesbian, I have to calm myself down because all I can think about is, wow, I get sent back to how I was made fun of, mistreated by them, bullied by them, and there was nothing I could do about it because if I put my hands on them, like trying to defend myself, I got in trouble trying to defend myself. So, as a streamer content creator, you're going to have trolls and people that just hate on you or make false narratives to get to you. It comes with the game on you. That's true. People come and go from your friend circle on a daily basis. That is so true, bro. That is so true. And you and I, we are witnesses to that. But I'm just glad that you never let it get to the point where it turned to PTSD. I mean, trust me, it's not good. I mean, and you gotta understand, like I said, this is before streaming. This is just stuff that happened in my past, with bullying, harassment, and seeing my mother cry and whatnot. And then when I see someone else do this, it just sets it off. You can't say or help anyone. They have to want to help themselves. You can guide them to the step, but they have to take the step. That's true. Now, I'm going to quickly go over this stuff because it's just common sense, but I'll pretty much talk a little bit about it. Dentist appointments, again, that's pretty much getting better. That's why I've been so picky with my diet and everything, and ever since then, I go to the dentist, and they're like, oh, your teeth are fine, you're good to go. The death of others and family, that's just common sense. I mean, of course, that's going to, cause that. But to some people, they're just like, hey, people come and go, and that's that. But to others, especially if you're close to them, it just causes you to like lose part of yourself because you're like, oh my goodness, like they're gone. Certain ingredients in food. This is just a personal thing. I'm very picky with sugar and salt intake. For instance, when I order something from DoorDash, like I was really excited that I ordered all these breakfast bowl meals. When I saw the amount of salt and sodium and when I saw the amount of sodium and there was another ingredient, that was added on to this product, I was like, this is going to give me a heart attack. So I unfortunately had to throw it all away. I mean, I got a refund for the for some of the rotten oranges I received, but just the fact that they would sell this in the stores, just goodness. So, pedophilia, rape jokes. I mean, the reason why I get affected by this is because I used to do foster care, and those kids would tell me a lot of that stuff that happened to them. So that's why I don't tolerate it. Mishandling of schedules. Again, if I overslept or something, I'm like, oh crap. That used to be something that like, used to get to me, but now it's just like, it's not a big deal. I already talked about Discord. I literally have my own parody version of Discord. Like this song that I can share with y'all. Scam artists. I just don't like how they scam others and scam me, and of course cost people money. So, believe it or not, NSFW. Because of how my father was into it, and I believe my cousins. So, at that time, and of course how I was raised. So at that time, I just grew fearful of it. So, I would have, just I would just I was like the SFW streamers at the time. I'm just gonna act like it doesn't exist. I'm just gonna act like it doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist. So I conquered this, but I just wanted to state that used to affect me, not anymore. Too many days of rest. Mentally, it makes me feel lazy. Still learning to deal with myself. Yeah, trust me, it's a process. Anything dirty and organized. I have OCD, so I'm getting better with that. Constant technical issues to a point it can frustrate me and make me lose interest for a while. So, like, for instance, if I purchase a video game or if I purchase a electronic product, electronic product, not electronic, and if it starts bugging out no matter what I do, I say, you know what, I'm done. So, remember when I was catching on about Mortal Kombat 1, how that game kept bugging out stuff? Like, yeah, that was my PTSD, like, being triggered, and I was, like, really getting frustrated. Because I was doing everything, and then when I was patient, and I contacted Warner Brothers, and I tried to talk to people in the forums, and they all was like, oh, it's obviously your PC. So, not having enough information. If I don't have enough information about a topic when someone's talking to me, part of me just shuts down, and I don't like that. So I will research and prepare myself. I used to do that when I was a kid and teenager. It's not like that anymore. But it rarely happens. Venting. Afterwards, I just start feeling weak, tired, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Being sick. Just personal experience. I don't like doing bronchitis, so I do everything in my power to make sure I don't have to deal with that anymore. Forgetting. It's annoying. Mood swings. Again, it's just part of my chemical imbalance. And being misunderstood. Work in progress. Wow, that was a lot. So, let's do something positive and actually break down how I can actually fight against this. I feel like that's the best thing to do. And what better way to do this while having some awesome music playing? So, give me a sec here.
Hurry to Value City Furniture for the $50 million buyout. With new inventory from quality brands like Ashley and Broyhill, now up to
Sorry, there's an ad playing.
reclining sofas.
Alright. Okay. This is from a new. I can definitely call them. I don't know if I can call them a friend or a potential lover. Or, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything, but I met them and they seem really, really nice. So we hung out. Heck, she even checked in on me just today before I was about to stream. So, and I just met them at an instance. You know, And she just seems really awesome. Of course, I'm gonna take things slow and get to know her a little bit more. Let's see, and she's also My Little Pony fan too, which is awesome, or it used to be. Yeah. But this is some of the music and beats that she made. That's what y'all hearing right now. Yeah, she worked on that. Okay, let's talk about how we can break this down. Okay, because listen, we can talk about this and this and oh, it's terrible that I dealt with my PTSD and yada yada yada. But I'm the type of person that's like, what can we do about it? You know what I mean? That's the type of person I am. What can we do about it? That's what I want to know. What can we do about it? Okay, it happened. Yeah, I dealt with all this. I dealt with all these jerks. And I've forgiven them and whatnot. But what can we do about it? So let's go back over the return of my PTSD. And by the way, this was honestly triggered because of all the severe thunderstorms, which is rare because I believe it was just the reaction of people in the face of my, the emotional reaction from my dog and my family member that pretty much caused me to react like this. And I believe there was another event that happened at my job where there was a stranger that came in and I let them in because I was like, hey, I told them you need an ID or whatnot, and of course they just stared and looked at me and I said, you know what? I was like, okay, what is it that you want? They was like, I want to use the restroom. I said, okay, go use the restroom. So they used the restroom, and I'm like, okay, it's 11. Knock on the door. They tell me, okay, I just need a few more minutes. I say, okay, got a few more minutes. After that few more minutes, I'm doing checking my paperwork and stuff. I knock on the door again. They tell me they have amnesia and they need me to call paramedics. They call the paramedics. Sorry, I call paramedics, and they come really quickly. They come, they check, they see this guy laying on the ground. So of course that spikes my anxiety because I'm like, what is going on? He said you just need to use the restroom, and of course, the paramedics and the police are looking at me like, what is it that you want us to do? I just said, just please escort him out of here, and it just happened so fast. And then afterwards, I just had to walk away from my desk. After I filed my instant request, I had to walk away from my desk and just take deep breaths. I'm glad he was okay, but it was just, man. And I understand he probably just came in just to get away from the severe thunderstorm, but it's just like, man, why? And then, of course, the resident had to let him in. Well, he had to pretty much just, act like, oh, I don't know this person. I'm like, how can I tell if you're telling the truth or not? So, yeah. All right, so let's talk about some solutions. First off, dissociation. Instead of trying to roleplay as characters, I need to write down why I am portraying this character at this moment. What did this character represent? And maybe I can share this experience with someone else. So instead of just role-playing as a character by myself, maybe I can just try role-playing with someone else. I have done this, and it is very successful. I just have to be very careful. And not just that. Just talk to people in general. Share a little bit of my ideas, just a little, not too much, because people like to steal ideas. And they share some of their ideas. And if they're an artist, maybe commission them. Or if they're nice enough, they can draw some for me, just something simple. And we can go from there. And I feel like turning my pain and suffering to a successful idea is great. It's just the dissociation part. I just have to learn to just reach out immediately. Not just, oh, I'm by myself. No, reach out immediately. So I have to take deep breaths and just pick somebody. Whether it be my homie, whether it be my family member, it doesn't matter. Just reach out to somebody and just keep it simple. Hey, this happened. Suggestions. No overly long soap opera. Just, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. Can I talk to you about something? This happened. Suggestions. Not, oh, this happened. I'm scared. But no at least offering for suggestions. I want suggestions. If I come to you, you know, definitely show me empathy, but I'm looking for suggestions because my brain is like racing, you know. Revert to a selective mute. Instead of doing this, which is a good thing, I need to, you know, allow people to just talk to me more. And then I just at least give some type of response, which I do. Or I could just say, hey, understood, don't understand, please repeat that. So honestly, that's what I do, and I think that's fine as long as I don't do it all the time. There's nothing wrong with being mute. Separate isn't bad. It's just how long I separate. So for instance, if someone calls me an N-word, right? Just 1 week is fine. And then after that 1 week, leave it be. Depending on how long I know this person, maybe 3 or 4 days is fine. And during that time, again, yeah, just focus on what I need to do instead of dealing with that person. Sometimes everyone just needs to be separated. That's why when I meet people, I don't like bothering them. I like to give them their space because everyone needs that. And I feel like the problem is I give people too much space and then they feel like, oh, you don't care about me. So that's something I have to work on. And that's going to take time. It's something I've been working on for a long time. The vestibular effect, unfortunately, there's really no cure for that. That's just something that happens, at random. And I don't mind just, allowing that moment to happen. I mean, it's best for me to laugh and talk about it afterwards than to cry. So I don't mind laughing about it. I think this is something I don't want to change. Because I do like Joaquin Phoenix Joker. He's definitely a character I can resonate with. He's one of my all-time favorite Jokers. He's a character I can relate to, so that's perfectly fine. As long as I don't let it get to me and I can have my moments where I laugh that way, then that's fine. As long as my laughter doesn't concern my friends and family, then that's fine. And I shouldn't have to laugh myself to exhaustion unless I need to, like if it's a long, long day. And laughter is not, that thing. Instead of practicing apathy, I should practice empathy. Because they don't know, I don't know. Yeah, they may act like a jerk to me, but they don't really know, even if they say they do. There's a part of them that just doesn't really fully know. Unless someone brings it to them in a different light. I have dealt with people who were quote-unquote bungholes. And when I would bring up certain concepts to them, it helped them to understand, Overexercise and workout. Slow down. I need to meditate first and then work out and tell myself, do sets. No matter how angry, frustrated you are, if you're angry, frustrated, just meditate, take deep breaths, and then work out. And the moment my body starts feeling unnecessary pain, stop. Like I was lifting weights, I started to feel something in my arms, I stopped. I did my crunches, everything, I stopped. If I tell myself, I didn't do enough. You ran the treadmill, you lifted weights, you stretched, you did this and this, you did some crunches, did some push-ups, that's enough. You did good. Stop. I just gotta tell myself, you did good, stop. If you're still not satisfied, just try again. Alright, so I feel like these are great tips that I gave myself. Now, when it comes to the portrayal of self or others, it goes back to what I was talking about before, and that's just me having to forgive myself. That means understanding that all of this that I talked about, whether it's my fault or not, I have to just let it go. There's no point harping on it. There's no point going back to it. There's no point in letting something cause a initiated trigger. I just gotta let it go. If I am heartbroken, it's fine. I gotta talk to people about it, get the help, and that's it. If I dealt with being betrayed by people, it's whatever. I gotta let it go. I gotta do it for me so I can enjoy my days. It's Monday, and my Monday so far has been fantastic. I want to keep it that way. Receiving a response from anybody, oh well, at least you reached out. And they want to say that you didn't do anything, whatever. Let them talk. Being pressured to do things that I simply don't want to do. My therapist says something to me that I'll never forget. They don't control you, and they don't own you. Meaning, if they get mad at you, they get mad at you. If they feel like you betrayed them, then I guess you betrayed them. Let them get mad. Because if that's how they're going to treat you over something simple and minute, that's how they're going to treat you from here on out. Give them their space or just let them go. I feel like that's something that I just need to do. Just give them their space and let them go. So yeah, I think the problem is I have to practice just allowing people to express and just be angry. I'm the type of person because I'm a Virgo. Oh, I gotta keep the peace. I gotta let people be. Nope. I gotta let people be mad. I gotta let people be upset. And that used to be something that was hard for me at my job. But it's okay if people get upset. It's okay if people get mad. As long as you weren't the one that initiated and you apologize and whatnot, then if they still want to get mad, let them get mad. And they feel like, oh, you betrayed my trust. I'm never going to collab with you again. Apologize, move on. Not a big deal. There will be other opportunities for you. It's no big deal. Suffering public humiliation. Stay quiet and let that person look like a fool. Eye contact, no head down, eye contact. Say what you got to say. Let them talk trash. Eye contact, eye contact. Now, of course, if you're dealing with someone dangerous, don't give them too much eye contact. But give them that look. Let them know that can't faze me. I've done it. I was publicly humiliated multiple times. It works. Feeling useless, can't feel useless. Because you are useful somewhere. Somebody appreciates you, someone cares about you. So, if you don't have a say in anything, if a person will not let you have a say in a project or collab, they don't care about you. Just that simple. They just want to use you for this project, use you as an asset. Let them do it, especially if it's going to get you some money or get you some exposure. Let them do it and just separate yourself from that person. Let them miss you. Just roll with it. Roll with it. The mistreatment by women and stuff. Okay. Now, that's pretty much been taken care of. A lot of tips. I have to do a lot of research. So, that's why I want to actually do a case study on this one day. So, who knows? Just takes time. Dentist appointments, that's already been taken care of. I had a wonderful friend / dentist. He's been going through a lot of stuff, but he helped me and educated me. Shout out to you, Ghost. Appreciate it. Death of others, that takes time. Nothing you can do about it. Just talk to people, cry it out, talk to people. Seeing the innocent scared or hurt when I'm around them. You need to state it's not your fault. I need to state that's not my fault. even part of it is just, you know, you deserve better. My condolences. Please take care of yourself. Just whatever. Exposure videos. That's never going to end. People need their money. People need something to talk about. People need their views. So they're going to keep doing it. Instead of being like, oh my goodness, that's all they're just. No, it's going to exist. And no, people need their bread. They need their money. So they're going to talk about it. They're going to get their views. Just. And some of them aren't bad people, but you know the ones that are. And usually 9 times out of 10, those people get exposed and they shut their channels down anyway. So it's whatever. Or they'll get exposed by someone else. It's a dog eat dog world, or cat eat cat, or mouse eat mouse world. Certain ingredients in food, honestly, that's not a bad thing, but it should not cause me to like have a trigger. It's just be more cautious, drink more water, eat more fruit, eat more vegetables, and know that with moderation you should be fine. Just talk to a doctor if you don't know. Talk to a dietitian if you don't know. They will guide you. They will help you. There's tons of resources, tons of books. Just talk to them. Talk to a dietitian. Talk to a doctor, and they will guide you. And talk to elders too. They'll definitely guide you as well for free. The pedophilia and rape jokes, I agree. People are gonna be ignorant. Don't respond to it. If they make a joke, they make a racist joke, they make a pedophilia joke, do not laugh at it, do not respond to it. Do not react to it, do not respond to it, do not laugh at it, and they will get the message. The best response to that is silence. If they say, did I offend you? Did I get mad? Just say, just look at them. Don't even respond. Just look at them. It's the best way to shut anybody down. Just look at them, don't respond. But what if it's funny? I mean, if you want to laugh at it, that's fine. They're just going to do it again, and one day they're going to hit a joke. They're going to say a joke that's going to hit you hard, and you're going to really get mad at them. If you want to save them from embarrassing themselves or doing something silly that they can't do, here in America, you will help them. Certain jokes need to only be stated by professionals, not by amateurs. Mishandling schedules. Set alarms. Write things down. Go to bed earlier. And just try again. Discord or any social media app, take breaks. Take month breaks. Just don't even worry about it. Take a month break. You only have to tell people, ooh, take a break. Scam artists. You can lock your DMs where only your friends can message you. That's with any social media app. You can not respond. If you see a message that's just, just don't respond to it. That's it. Just don't respond. Don't respond to the calls. Don't respond, and report it. To the department. If it's serious, then report it to the authorities, and it'll stop. NSFW, the human body. It has many various proportions. If you're scared of NSFW, you're scared of yourself. You're scared of the human body. You're scared of the fact that you can't acknowledge that you have beauty too. I understand that NSFW can be a little bit extreme, but when you look at it like that people are just experimenting with the possibilities of what if, as long as it doesn't go into the realms of dealing with children, then adults are going to do what they want. Just set boundaries with them. That's it. Too many days of rest. Okay. Again, this goes back to just having a schedule. So with me, I would just have to make sure that I do something each day. So if I don't like resting a lot, just have a schedule and just make sure I just do things. Just do anything. And then if you tell yourself, okay, I did all this, I feel great, it's my off day, it's okay to rest. Go ahead and watch your Netflix or whatnot because you did something. Just do something and you'll be fine. If you need to rest because of the fact that your body's exhausted or you're healing from surgery, there's nothing you can do about that. Just find something productive. Listen to documentaries, listen to something that's positive. Like videos, read books, draw. Sing. There's always something that you can do, especially if you are forced to rest. So don't ever kid yourself thinking that all you can do is just sit around and do nothing. That's not true. Anything dirty and unorganized? Tell yourself this because I do have OCD. You are also made of dirt. There's dirt everywhere, and the earth is made of dirt. The grass needs dirt. Dirt is viable and supporting. All you have to do is just clean and organize the best you know how. You organize so you don't miss out anything. And if you're someone that doesn't like to organize, make it fun. Play a song and work on it little by little. Some people can organize their room in a day. Some need 4 days. Just do it day by day. If all you can do is organize your clothes and straighten out your table, perfect. Good job. Stop. Then do it the next day. Okay, do this. And then over time, you're going to practice and tell yourself, okay, it's okay if I have days where my room is a little dirty, where like maybe there's, um, some stuff like hanging around. As long as I get to it before the end of the week, that's fine. Your room, it's your room. If you want it to be dirty, unorganized, that's fine. But you're the one who's going to suffer the consequences if you can't find this or get yourself ready and whatnot. It's best to stay organized, but you don't have to do it as a perfectionist. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you get your stuff done. You don't need to organize your clothes A, B, C, D. You don't need to, have all the colors aligned. You don't need to, constantly spray your room with disinfect spray. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is just make sure that you're somewhat clean and organized and just don't have food laying around. Don't have food laying around. Don't have clothes laying around. If you want to have your mic, turn to the side and the computer here, and that's fine. As long as you're able to know what everything is, and as long as you have nothing on the floor, your bed's made up, and whatnot, that's fine. And trust me, someone's going to get on you about it. So it's best to practice organization now to prevent further embarrassment later. It's challenging, and there are a lot of people that can help you with this. I follow the philosophy of do it now, and you want to worry about it later. Just get it over with. It works. Just do it now, get it over with, you're done. Organize your stuff, fold your clothes, just get it done, and that's it. Your life, do what you want, but I'm just saying, get your stuff together early on in the week, so that way you'll be ready for anything that comes across your day, for next week. So, for instance, it's always best to have everything in one place. Everything has a place. So if you have like a computer set up, your computer needs to be next to your TV. Your controllers need to be, somewhere. It could be like in a nice little, I don't know, it could be like in a crate or something, like a little mini bucket. It's all based on what you want. As long as you can see and you can be able to get stuff done, because the more organized you are, the better and more efficient you're going to be with getting your tasks done. Just always remember to keep your stuff organized, and don't constantly keep buying things you don't need, because buying stuff, that's going to definitely make your room a lot more unorganized. Just focus on what's important and have that in your room, and the rest just put it away. And there you go. Constant technical issues. There's nothing you can do about that. Technology is flawed. It's always going to be in the beta stages and the alpha stages. They're going to sell people, especially the poor products, making them feel like that they need the stuff when they really don't. And it's going to put them in this perpetual loop of poverty. Just simply don't bother with it. If it's broken and busted, wait. Just wait. If you're constantly dealing with technical issues, just wait. Not have enough information. No one does. And that's okay. You're not going to know everything. Simply just teach and train yourself every day. For instance, there was someone that I met on VRChat by the name of Bliss, and she educated me about all the, fallacies on dinosaurs that was spread across not just science, but in the AAA entertainment industry. Blew my mind. Read articles and everything. I was like, wow. So nothing to be ashamed about, nothing to be upset about. It's just, if you don't know, ask. And someone will be happy enough to educate you. There was someone who was nice enough to educate me on wireless blenders and why they are a ripoff and how they don't hold much battery life. So I met someone, I added them as a friend on VRChat, and they educated me about why lithium-ion batteries they just don't last long, and how they simply just do not like being around too much heat. It's quite fascinating. So, not having enough information during a conversation, simply ask. I'm intrigued with this conversation. Can you please take the time to tell me more about it? Or could you provide me a resource so I could be a lot more educated on this topic? Always state this question. Brings a sense of trust and hope. Or, because, some people do have like their own doubts about how they feel about you. But when they see that you want to educate yourself, they are going to want to help you even more. Venting. Oh, how to solve this? Timer. Once you hear that, stop. Set a timer. Allow yourself 5 minutes to vent. Venting's actually not a bad thing. The key timer. I'm going to vent about this game. Timer, 5 minutes. Stop. I'm going to vent about this movie. Timer, stop. I'm going to vent about what this person did to me. Get up, press the record button. Timer. And the moment to stop, stop. This is going to teach you to value your time a lot more. So when you're venting, you just use this timer and bam. Use it all the time, especially when I'm working out and stuff. Time yourself. Venting is fine. Debating is fine. If you're going to deal with a friend that likes to talk politics and religion, put them on a timer. You got 30 minutes. Let people know that your time is valuable. And when that timer goes off, oh, sorry, I gotta go. Thanks for the conversation, I gotta go. Timer. This thing is gonna help you. Being sick. Unfortunately, and I remember I read an article about this, there's nothing that one can do about it. You can train your body, you can go do all the home remedies. Your body will, unfortunately, based on your genetics and based on your family history, you may be prone to being sick more than others. Doesn't matter what your diet is or anything, it just happens. We have, all the medicine in the world and whatnot, and you'll be just fine. Just be cautious what you eat, what you drink constantly, and you will be all right. Forgetting, write it down. Write it down, type it out, or, get a voice recorder. Don't forget eggs, bacon, and jelly. And then just type, like reminder. It's okay. I have to tell myself that all the time. It's okay to forget. Mood swings. Exercise and work out more. talk to people more. Um, Write it down first. I'm mad that this person did this to me. Why am I mad? So write what you're mad about, why you're mad about it, and your solution. Write a solution, what you're going to do. And if your solution is, I'm going to pop somebody in the mouth, you need to talk to someone immediately. Your solution should be, I'm going to forgive this person, let them go. Or I'm going to just not bother with them and just give them a break. Or I'm just going to simply separate myself from them. There are many solutions to a simple or even a complex problem. You just have to tell yourself which one matters to you. You'll deal with people that will make fun of you and say some of the most heinous things because they have nothing else better to do with their life. You can choose to let it bother you, or you can just walk away. One thing that I do is I like to role play a scenario of what I would like to do to said individual. So, like, if a person calls me a certain derogatory term, I imagine what I would do to them if we lived in a world where there was no rules. And I would start laughing. This may be psychotic behavior, but it helps me. And then I write it down and I say, okay, I imagine myself doing this. How did this make me feel? What can I actually do in reality? And then I'll write, stand my ground, ignore, then walk away. Remember how they teach us that in school when you deal with bullies and stuff like that? They always tell you, walk away, stand your ground. Walk away, stand your ground. Say what you gotta say, walk away. Because people in the heat of the moment when they're angry, they don't hear themselves. When someone's angry or when someone has high levels of arrogance or they're a sociopath, they don't hear themselves. They just talk. But when you just let them just get all out their system, or you let them talk to themselves, or when they find out that they're not getting a lot of attention, they stop. So your mood swings can easily be solved if you direct your emotions towards something positive or something that's meaningful. If you're angry, work out, exercise. If you're sad, allow yourself to, be a little sad, get the timer out, and then afterwards, tell yourself, what can I do now? You just have to monitor what you do with these emotions. Being misunderstood, speak more clearly and mean what you have to say. The purpose of the stream is to talk about PTSD, bring awareness to it, state what I went through, and state what my solutions and what my plan is. That's it. Say it, don't repeat yourself. Oh, what'd you say? Keep going. Just keep going. Don't repeat yourself or nothing. Speak clearly, speak slowly, and speak firmly and bold, firmly and loud. And people will hear you out. And that's how it works. Okay. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, with everything that you stated, Wilkins, it seems to me that none of this should even bother you because, you seem to have a better understanding of, like, how to handle this. Just because people like me know how to deal with and fight PTSD doesn't mean that we fully have all the tools. Like, just because we attend therapy and just because that we do everything that we're supposed to do doesn't mean that we got all the answers. This is just me showing and telling you this is what I practice every single day. Well, can it ever go away? PTSD does not work that way. It doesn't go away. And a lot of people need to understand that. It doesn't go away. I've been dealing with this since I was in middle school. Since I was 12, 13 years old. It started slowly when I was 5. But over time, it just started to gradually increase. Now, of course, my parents And my family did the best they could to minimize it. But there were just certain moments that I did not, when they happened, I did not, properly communicate. And it caused these situations to get worse and worse and worse. So it's on me pretty much. I should have talked about it more. But at the same time, it's not on me because I was young and I didn't know at the time how to communicate it. So please understand that PTSD is nothing to, as y'all would say, F with. If you don't seek help like I did throughout my life, if you don't seek help like I did, throughout your life, if you don't practice the techniques, you're going to end up in the following places. And this is where I get serious, really serious. You're going to end up in jail because you didn't, manage your anger properly. You're going to end up in someone's psychiatric ward where they put you under lithium. You're going to end up, if you're young, you're going to end up in juvie or a correctional center. You're going to end up alone because you run people off because you didn't know how to handle your emotions properly. Or you're going to end up dead because you let your thoughts get the best of you. And you end up doing something that probably scars your friends to this day. But hey, I'm just a pony that's just talking, right? I'm just some guy, behind the screen that's just talking. Obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I knew some of y'all would say that. So, there is actually someone that I came across, and I actually want you all to listen to her story. And when you see how old she is, it's going to blow you away. You're going to be like, what? PTSD does not just affect, people like me. It can affect anyone of any ethnicity, of any gender, of any race, and of any age. This individual goes by the name of Deidre DeHart. And I want y'all to just take the time to listen to her testimony. And we're going to watch all 3 parts. And I just want you all just to hear what she has to say. Now, understand that everyone's PTSD is different. Some could develop PTSD from, like I said, breaking their leg, or being bullied constantly, or getting to their first car accident, or, if they were a boxer or whatnot. Like, you could develop PTSD as an elder. Like, you could literally live your whole life, everything's peaceful, and you could develop PTSD when you're 50 years old. Like, it can creep up on you. It doesn't just go away because, I dealt with it when I was a kid and I'm an adult. No, this is something that you have to constantly deal with. And you have to constantly fight every single day. So don't kid yourself thinking, I'm under medication, man, so obviously I should. No, that doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And if you think it works that way, I feel really sorry for you. I'm not going to call you ignorant because I understand. I'm just going to say I feel sorry for you. Straight up, I feel sorry for you. But here she is. I'm going to let her say her piece. And I'm going to finish, doing my exercise because I really need to finish doing my I need to finish doing my dime push-ups, my back pull-ups, and I need to do my plank. So, if you have any questions afterwards, please let me know. Please follow this woman, and if you can, just encourage her because she's going to do it. The fact that she took the time to open up about this is amazing.
Nadine here, replying to Jack's comment about the Emoli 6-in-1 tripod selfie stick. Yes, it is versatile. I'm giving you a little bit more look at it with me holding it and stuff. And this is it. Let me show you how it spreads out. You push a button, and the legs spread out. This is it. It's great for like if you want to set it on coffee tables.
Sorry, that's a great one. But I'm looking for. Here it is. This is it. This is the one. My apologies. This is the one. But definitely check her out. Notice people with PTSD, right? Well, sorry, individuals, how they act, and people will probably notice about me. Sometimes we talk fast, or we have like high levels of energy, like having a manic, or we'll like, our brain will just start racing, or we'll just start, fidgeting our hands and whatnot. Like these are all signs of it. Okay, and so anyway, go ahead, please take this time to just listen to her. If you have any questions, please ask. Because I'm a survivor of PTSD, okay? And I just dealt with 2 incidents that happened last week that brought it back. And of course, there was other incidents that happened that I looked at like it was minor, petty, whatever. But it just comes to show you that it can come back when you least expect it. So, anyway, I'm going to stop talking.
Hello. Today I'm going to put myself out there. Today I'm telling my story, how my post-traumatic stress disorder started. The beginning. My name is Deidre Dehart. My story began on July 7th, 1990. It was a day that a family was taking an outing to go to a town called Tawny Town. We were going to a car show. My father and my mom and my sister and my husband, me, and my 3 children at the time. We stopped in a town called Alma, Arkansas, the next town over from ours, which was Van Buren, Arkansas, to get some gasoline in my dad's 39 Chevy Coupe in the van that we were driving. Me and my husband and my 3 kids. I forgot. I had my 2 nephews as well, Davey and Brandon were with me also. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law were on vacation and I had their kids with me as well. So we stopped to get gasoline, and my dad decided, after he gassed up the coupe, that he was going to go back to the car wash and wash the coupe, and he handed me his credit card to gas up the van and said that he was going to wash up the coupe and he would catch up with us. And we were gassing up the van. My husband went into the store, or the gas station, and said, he came out and said they didn't have any coffee. So after we got gas, we went back to another station to get a cup of coffee, and when he was in there, I seen my parents drive by. top of the hill. Well, not the top of the hill. When we got close to the bottom of the hill, we seen this wreck. We seen a semi on its side.
Notice how
You could see
when she's talking, how she's talking really slow. She's trying to calm herself. She has her arms to her side because she's really trying to memorize everything that occurred.
which was on its side.
Just listen to the rest of this. It's heavy.
In the side of the mountain. My father and my sister was laying outside the vehicle with their legs in the vehicle, with the driver's side car door pinning my dad's arm to the ground. And my mom was sitting in the car with her feet up on the dash in the passenger side. And I couldn't get near her because all it looked like was black. It was from the blood. And it was just horrifying. At this point, the ambulances hadn't gotten there yet. My dad was the only one talking. Me and my husband pulled the car door up off of his arm and released it. And when we did, he rolled over on my sister. He kept telling me he was dying, and I kept yelling at him and saying, "Daddy, you're not dying, you're not dying." And when he rode over on my sister, she started making just these bellowing sounds. She wasn't making any words.
Oh, there goes the tears. There goes the tears. Yep. Told you. She's really trying her best, and I even want to talk about this, but it's helping her to heal.
And they moved him up to the side of the highway. And I kept screaming and yelling at him. It took a while for the ambulance to get there. I kept screaming and yelling at him that my mother was going to die because she was a diabetic. She looked worse than anybody. And finally, I turned around and I seen that we had pulled in front of the wreck, and I seen one of my twins, one of my boys, had gotten out of the van. And I went over and I picked him up and I put him back in the van. I told him everything was going to be all right, that help was there, and I put him back in the van and told him to stay in there. And I still kept screaming and yelling for them that my mother was going to die. And they told me that I had to calm down, and that I had to calm my dad down so that they could get, I don't know what they call them, that brace thingy around his neck. And so I tried to calm him down.
Oh, she's picking up her dog.
So that they could
This
get
is
that
tougher.
brace around his neck. My dad was a pretty good sized man. I tried to calm him down so that they could get the brace around his neck. And he still kept saying he's dying, he's dying. And I kept telling him that he wasn't. And paramedics got there. And I told him, I said, because at the time we were dealing with the fire department, and I told them she was diabetic. So I know with diabetics, injuries is worse than somebody that's not diabetic. And I've dealt with diabetes all my life with my mother. So anyway, we ended up following the ambulance to the hospital. It took them some time to get there. And I asked them to go to one of the hospitals in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And they said they had to go to the nearest hospital to stabilize them. And they stopped at Crawford County Hospital at the time. It's changed names a couple of times.
After this, I'm going to give y'all some examples of how I used to act based on when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, and now.
In a family room, and my mother-in-law showed up, and I had her take the kids. And they asked who the oldest was, and I said I was 25 at the time. I'm not old enough to handle all this. By far not old enough to handle all of it. Anyway, the nurse said there was some good news and some bad news. But the doctor would have to tell me. So the doctor came in. My little sister had just gotten there. She didn't go on because she was just 18. She stayed home with some friends. My sister that was married was in the car wreck with my mom and dad. And anyway, the doctor came in and he asked who the oldest was, and I said I was. And he said, basically, the good news was that Miss Dehart, which was my mother, was in critical condition. And Miss Dehart, Miss Garcia was in critical condition, and my sister. And the bad news was that Mr. Dehart did not make it.
Here's a list of people who also suffer from PTSD. Well-known singers, actors. I mean, just for those who don't believe that it's a.
They had a trauma team waiting for my mother at a hospital in Fort Smith where I first asked them to take them. And they said because that I didn't have to sign the papers to transfer her to the trauma team, but if I didn't, she'd surely die because they were not equipped to take care of her. They did several surgeries on her overnight. She was in hospital for over a month. And again, I was 25 years old. I was a daddy's girl. Continue for part 2.
And yeah, she did do a part 2 as well. What I want people to notice is, what I want people to notice is her overall like mood and how like her movements as well. How you saw how she kept speaking slowly and trying to really contemplate and think about everything she's going to say. When I tell people, man, this is no joke, it's not. So anyone that has friends or family members that are doing PTSD, especially those based on that link that I sent you all in the comments, this is something they have to fight with every single day. And even, let's just say the doctor says, oh, they're cured. No, it comes back. And it may not be in the form of PTSD, but trauma, that sticks with you forever. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play a video. I'm sorry. This is the stuff that people like. And this is the one video that a lot of people like to, talk about. So we're just going to go ahead and just play one of them. Someone sent me this video years ago. And because I was a furry and they thought it was funny. They thought this was funny. Alright, so y'all ready to see some pretty shocking reactions? As a kid, this is where I got to really channel how I was when I was a kid if I saw something like this. That's my reaction. Shut down. Immediate shutdown. Thoughts that go through my head. Why would someone make this? What's so bad about furries? Yeah, I know that there's bad things about furries, but also bad things about humans. And how can people just be so cool? And like, did they even make any money off of this? And like, what do they have to gain for this? Like, what's wrong with that dude? Like, what's this? Like, you see what I mean? Shuts down. All those thoughts start racing through my head. That's my reaction as a kid. When I see stuff like this, I think and think and think and think and think and think and think till I'm exhausted. Reaction as a teenager. They're ignorant. Why would someone even make something like this? Like, seriously, what is their problem? Do they not have anything better to do? Anger. And then afterwards, shut down. Reaction as an adult. Realization, sees both sides, sees that there's good and evil from both sides, see that maybe this person dealt with some trauma, kind of tries to analyze it a little bit, but at the same time, while doing it, hands are shaking. Trying to prevent that side of me from a teenager, or when I was in my 20s, being angry, frustrated, yelling, just calming myself down, breathing exercise. Maybe I'll laugh. Ha 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 ha! How ignorant. That's my reaction. Now, see what I mean? How everyone deals with PTSD differently? It's different. Some react to it via anger. Some will just walk away, and but they'll still think about it. And but the moment someone brings it up, they'll either shut down even more, or they'll lash out and get angry because they didn't have no one to talk to about this. That is, those are my pretty much what my PTSD was like when I was a kid, teenager, and an adult. Just wanted to give you all an example of like how that works. It's different for a lot of people. It's different. Here's part two.
Hello, Deidre D. Hart here again with part 2 of my story of PTSD and how
So now you all understand. It's reoccurring and it
my
comes
father,
back when you least
who I
expect
lost
it.
in the car wreck, Jack D. Hart, and my mother, Frida D. Hart, who since has passed away 2 years ago. Now, back to my story, where I left off. I transferred my mother to a trauma team to a hospital that was at the time called Sparks Hospital, which has changed names a couple of times since. Trauma team, excuse me, that worked on her several times overnight. I remember going to the hospital and they had a surgery waiting room and an ICU waiting room across the hall from each other, and there was so many people that come up there. Remember, I was only 25 at the time. So many people come up there that we basically took up both waiting rooms in the hallway. I can't tell you who. I can remember the traumatic parts that impacted my life, but I can't tell you who. Someone brought bed crates up there for us to sleep on and stuff. I finally balled up in a little chair and went to sleep for 1 hour. And I woke up and I instantly started crying, and people started running because I knew at that time that it wasn't a dream. It was all just, I thought it would just, if I went to sleep, because I thought I'd just go to sleep.
Sorry, Rob. Another thing that I used to do, and I think I still do, is when something happens, here's what I will. Here's what will happen. Shut down. Be quiet. Brain starts to just, my thoughts just start to trail off, and then afterwards, I would just go somewhere, exercise, work out, meditate, walk away, and that's when I'll get a piece of paper, write down how things make me feel, draw it out, whatnot. So everyone say, "Well, that's not a bad thing." If you do this all the time, when something happens, it can be. So, anyway, please continue.
And I woke up, it would be a bad nightmare.
Right.
When I woke up,
Well,
reality hit. And at that time in my life, I was young, and I could sleep a good 10, 12 hours, no problem. From that day on in my life, I have not been able to sleep. On a good night, I get 5 hours sleep. And that's not in a row or consistently or 5 hours straight. I wake up off and like I'll sleep an hour, maybe hour and a half too, and get up and go back down. I'm up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So finally, I just get up, make my coffee, and I'm up. Anyway, away from sleep. At the time that they transferred, when they asked me back over to the other hospital, when they asked me to transfer my mother, my sister was married, but her and her husband was separated, and her husband was deaf, and she wasn't as in bad a condition. She had a fractured skull. She wasn't as in bad a condition as my mother. And I told the
All right.
hospital, I said, I have kids, and I can't be at 2 hospitals
So,
at one time. And, you know, my husband was taking care of the kids and my mother-in-law. I said, I need you to transfer my sister over to the hospital with my mother, which they did. And because her skull had fractured, but it didn't break open, her brain had swollen and put her in what they call like a slow state. Kind of like she had been mentally impaired. And until the swelling went down, she would be that way. Childlike, basically. And we were having to deal with that and deal with Mom being in ICU. And also, then I was getting a call the next day from the funeral home wanting me to get clothes for my father, telling me they can only hold the body for so long. And I'm under all this pressure to get all this done.
See our hands shaking? Yep.
And I'm like, I shouldn't be having to do all this. You know, I was his executor in his will. That was just in case him and Mom, something happened to him and Mom at the same time. But she was still alive, but she wasn't capable of making any decisions. I was also executor in her will. They had done this like a year before when they were going to go on vacation, and they were going to fly. And my dad didn't really like the idea of flying, so they both made me executor of their will.
Good.
So I had to make the funeral arrangements, and I had all these. My dad had 4 brothers and a sister, and I had all these people around me at the funeral home and stuff. When it finally came time to go for the private family viewing, we went in for the viewing, which I barely remember walking into the funeral home, and we walked out and we got home and I was upset and I said, where was the flowers? Because anytime I'd ever been, to a viewing, there was always flowers. And he said, honey, there were so many flowers. You knocked flowers over, we had to sit you down in a chair. That's the shock that I was in. And
Wow.
then
I wish I could give her a hug. I'm serious. I wish I could just give her.
three, I just can't do this right now.
Mm-hmm. I dealt with something similar. Um, it started when I lost my aunts, and I remember when I was at actually one of the, I think it was the funerals or whatnot, and I saw my grandma at the time, and I was really happy, and I was waving at her, and I think I called her name, she didn't respond, and usually she will always respond. Uh, that hurted me because she always responds. I'm like, oh. Also, hang on. I'll be back.
I had to restart the whole game just to update my headset. And then my headset decided to bug out. And I was like, no. I don't have money to buy a new one. Chillax. And then I fixed it. All I can say is the struggle was real. That's all. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
Mine shaft. What? Come on, I'll drive. You can feed Mr. Scribbles this busted carrot if you want to keep that pretty face of yours. Hop in.
Okay.
You go first, I'll cover your six. Danger. Whatever.
The fuck? Why are we watching a work print edition? This is a work print edition. It means they were making it and they're showing the real people in the CGI.
Who, me?
Good. How are you? How are you doing?
I think I've met them before because they already loaded for me when I first came in.
I don't remember them.
It's okay.
This is literally the work print edition.
Oh man, my butt, my butt.
You'll see.
Minecraft movie? It's maybe good.
We're not in Idaho anymore.
I'll be
I
back.
think this is Wyoming.
Wait, who are you again?
Garrison
I'll be back.
Garrison. Gamer of the year 1989. Whatever. I barely think about it.
What the heck?
Ooh. That's what I think it is. It could be our first quest giver. I'll do the talking. All right! Yeah!
Henry! You Henry? Come on back here!
You see how the background of that did not appear? And then it did, like right after that.
We're running dangerously low on gold. So let me be very clear. You are all failures. If you can't find more gold, I'll just send you to the overworld to zombify. Find me more gold. You. What are you making? Come closer. It's all right. Come on, I'm not gonna...
That text would not appear.
Gamer of the year 1989. Whatever. I barely think about it.
What the heck?
It's because of the quality.
If that's what I think it is, it could be our first quest giver.
The work print is the unfinished one. Possibly. That background did not appear. Yeah, that background did not appear. No, this is the actual one. The work print one did not have a background appearing. So that's how I knew the difference.
I'll just send you to the overworld to zombify.
Which was weird.
You. What are you making? Come closer. It's all right. Come on, I'm not going to bite you. Oh, how pretty. But how will that help me find more gold? Oops. What? Well, looky what we have here. Our time has come. Was I unclear when I said no one was to waste time on art or leisure? Oh, the orb has returned. It can't be. Dennis? You stole it from me, and now you will retrieve it. It would be a privilege, my liege. They're going to unbind you now. Don't do anything stupid. Of course not. You can trust this little dungeon pup. Stick it back. Go ahead. Strike me down. My piglins will make a meal of your beautiful wolf. How do I know you're telling the truth? There's only one way to find out. The orb for your little dog's life.
wise quest giver. We humbly seek gold. Give us a quest that will lead us to your treasure lode.
Garbage man, I work in the animal field, and I am telling you, that thing doesn't understand a word.
So sorry about that. We're gonna play the last part, and then that's it. So hopefully you all get an understanding of like how PTSD plays out. And PTSD Awareness Month is in June, and best believe that for the first time ever, even though when it comes to Awareness Month and everything, I've always been like a huge supporter of it, but this will be the first time where I will actually be really open. Sorry, I will actually be fully a part of it and be open about it. So like anybody just wants to talk to me about PTSD, that's fine. Like I don't care. Like I'm in college and whatnot. Like I'll make an event in VR. Like if anyone wants to talk to me about the PTSD or anything, they can. You know. So.
Garbage man isn't speaking English or
But anyway, here's the last part, and I'll be right back. 'Cause I have to take a shower. And I promise you, by the time this is over, I will be. Ooh. 1 second.
And when we get to the church, there's old timey cars because when Dad was in the wreck, Mom, they were driving their old '39 Chevy Coupe because we were going to a car show. So all these old timey cars at the funeral were people from the car shows and the car clubs that Dad was in there to support the family because they were kind of like his brothers. They were lined up and down. They were going to drive in the funeral procession. They were lined up and down the road. But
my apologies. All right, I'm gonna be right back.
Hello. Part 3 of my PTSD videos. I'm going to continue where I left off with the funeral home. I'm gonna
280.
move on
I
to
know.
the where the funeral car picks us up to take us to the funeral. So the funeral car picks us up to take us to the funeral, and when we get to the church, there's old timey cars because when Dad was in the wreck, and Mom, they were driving their old '39 Chevy Coupe because we were going to a car show. So all these old timey cars at the funeral were people from the car shows and the car clubs that Dad was in there to support the family because they were kind of like his brothers. They were lined up and down. They were going to drive in the funeral procession. They were lined up and down the road, but the church sat on the corner, so they're lined up and down the road, both directions. And then there was people standing all outside the church, all around. And in my mind, I'm still in shock. I'm thinking, I'm not going to
Is the pony here? Hmm.
Oh, froze. That's weird. So sorry, froze.
Hello. Part 3 of my PTSD videos. I'm going to continue.
We're gonna go to here.
Get into the church. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get in there? And I said something, and somebody said something to me in the car. I don't know which family member did, and they said, Deidre, they have a reserved section for us family members. And I couldn't tell you. I've been shocked who told me that. But anyway, so we get in the reserved section. And when we get in, there is so many people that they're...
I do apologize. We're gonna have to. I'm just gonna have to send y'all the link. But anyway, thank y'all for stopping by. Much love. Take care. Be safe. Really appreciate all the support, care. Please watch the videos. Please support her. And Wednesday. I'm gonna have a big stream. Do a lot of talking. Have lots of fun. VR chat, games. I've got it all planned out. Just come by Wednesday. I promise you won't regret it. All right, y'all take care. Be safe and practice forgiveness. And if you or anybody knows of someone that suffers from PTSD, tell them to reach out. It varies.